I'm a great person to talk to about that, I feel like, because, I will tell you, it's all about your drive. If you want to succeed in this business, you're going to succeed. If you want to go Ruby, you're going to go Ruby. And especially if you have one of those bonuses on the line, it can be extra special. So I know that one thing Kendra really wanted me to talk about was expos, and so I'm definitely going to talk about that. And the other thing is just, I want to let you guys know, because I feel like a lot of people say I'm from a small town, or I don't know anybody that would want to do this. And, the biggest thing I want to say to you guys is that you don't know that that's true, because when I was in Rhode Island, I just decided I really wanted to do this, and I started handing my Blitz card out to everybody that I met. So I went shopping, and I saw, another mom in the grocery store, and was like, oh, your baby's so cute. Talked to her for a second, and was like, here's my Blitz card. Make it personal, and then hand them that Blitz card. The first distributors that were on my team were random people I met in a store, just like that, just from handing them a Blitz card. So don't be scared to do that, guys. Lots of us are like, oh, I don't know, they could be nervous. And what I try to say to everybody is, number one, they don't pay your bills, and you don't even know them. They're a stranger, so what do you care, even if they think you're the crazy rap girl? But number two, you never know who really needs that. So don't think about it as something that you need to be nervous about. Think about it as, who am I going to bless today? Who are you going to bless today by handing that Blitz card to them? And maybe they'll want to try the wrap right on the spot. Great, get the wrap on them. Go into that grocery store bathroom, Panera bathroom, and get the wrap on them. And the second part about that I really wanted to say to you guys too was, handing them that Blitz card is the first step. Following up with them is even bigger. And if you have a few minutes, if they start asking you questions about it and stuff, have a party pad on you. Be able to take that out really quick, because it makes it so easy. You're not going to stumble over what you say. If you have that party pad out, especially if they're asking about the wrap, you're just going to flip through the pages of that, really quickly with them. Just a short 5-minute party pad presentation. And know your story with it. That's huge when it comes to signing distributors. I feel like nobody's going to want to be on your team if you don't make that personal connection with them. And guess what, guys? You may only have 5 minutes or less to be in their lives when you randomly blitz somebody like that. So make sure that you make it personal and that they're going to remember you. So like I said, along with having that party pad presentation, that 5 minutes, have your own personal story that you can share really quick in just a few minutes with people. Mine right now, that I say to people is, I blitz them and hand them the card, and I'm like, yeah, it totally, was great when I tried the wrap. I just got amazing results from it. And then I say, yeah, it's kind of funny looking back now, because at the time, I didn't even have the $59 to buy a box of wraps. So I just became a distributor so that I could get them for $25 for 4 of them. And now it's totally changed our lives. And I leave it at that. But depending on what they say, when I say that, some people are like, oh, well, how is that? Then I know that they are interested in the business, and I can share a little bit more about that. Or if they're like, oh, well, how did the wrap work and stuff, then I can go a little bit more into that side of it. But don't be scared to say that to people. Let's see. If you can, always try to book a wrap consultation with them or a party right on the spot. That's always fun to do. I don't use the word party with people when I'm meeting them randomly. I just say, hey, if you want to get together with a few friends, I could come over and wrap you for free. And that's what I leave it as. But I always try and book it right there. So then that way it's on the books. And, I say, oh, we can change the date, if you go home and look at your schedule and we need to change it. But that's why you're going to be their friend on Facebook, and you're going to get their information so that you can change that date if you needed to. But that way you know that they're actually going to follow through with it. Kendra wanted me to talk a little bit about expos, and I love doing expos. They are definitely one of my favorite things. I love meeting people in general. So at expos, I get to meet a lot of people. And the biggest thing I say to everybody is just the same thing I said about blitzing. So don't be scared. It's just totally about blessing those people that are coming to your life that day. They're going to walk past your table. They're going to walk up to your table. But it is your job to get their attention. So don't even bring a chair with you. When you go to do an expo, don't bring a chair. If they give you a chair, put it behind the table and leave it there, because you're never going to be behind that table. You're going to be out in the front of the table or right to the side of the table, standing there with, I like to use a clipboard. So on my clipboard, I have catalogs and then my Blitz cards, and then I have the drawing entries right up on top, because I want to be able to, when people walk by, I'm going to say hi to them. You know, I'm going to make the first impression. I'm going to talk to them first. I'm going to say, hi, how you doing? Would you like to enter our drawing today? And I hand them the clipboard with a pen on it. Then I can talk to them more while they're filling in that entry, because, you know, most people won't stand there and be silent. That's when you get that in. You know, they're filling out that drawing entry for you already, so you're already getting their contact information, which is great. Offer them a green sample. Hopefully, you know, you have green samples on there. You can say to them, oh, have you heard of our wrap? Or have you heard of It Works? Have you tried any of our products? And go into a little bit of the products that we offer for them. It can be really important to try and read your audience depending on what you're doing. So, like when I go in to do a mom-to-mom sale, which I love doing, you know, you're going to know that you're leading with the wraps and the greens normally. And those are definitely, you know, our top two sellers. So they are what we lead with the most, but it can be really important. I love to have green samples. Sometimes I actually have like little organic lollipops at my table too. Just because I'll hand those out to the kids. I ask their mom, you know, oh, can they have one? And it's a nice segue for me, because I'm like, oh yeah, you know, my kids get these. But then the other thing that they call candy is our greens chews. And that's how I bring up the greens chews with other moms, because then they're listening. You know, you talk to their kid, you paid attention to them. And then the next thing is going to be wraps. Have your own personal story. And if you don't have your story, if you're new, then use other people's story. We have a lot of great, amazing wrap stories within our groups and from our customers. So, you know, be sure to utilize those. I like to have the before and after pictures. You know, not a lot of people are doing that, I feel like, at our expos still. I like to have them. They draw people in. People want to see that. You don't want your table to look crowded and crazy, but at the same time, you need to have some of those, you know, wonderful corporate approved before and after pictures that can be out there in a photo album or set somewhere on the table so that people can look through. Okay. And then, you know, you can answer any questions that they have. When I do bridal events, I definitely focus a little bit more on the wraps, obviously, and then the weight loss part of it, because that's what most brides are looking for. And I also offer to do a bridal shower spa party. Those are really fun, and most of the brides are like, heck yeah, I want to be pampered, and I want my bridal party to be pampered as well. So offer that up to them. You know, give them that chance to be able to have that spa party. Hey, Christine, can you hear me? Did you unmute yourself? So you got to go down to the bottom and click unmute.
Can you hear me?
Hey, we can hear you.
That's good.
Hey, okay, so this is my favorite part tonight. Is that I get to introduce you all to Christine Hunt. If you guys don't know who she is yet, she is a rock star that joined my team 2 months ago. And she told me she wanted to go Ruby, and this girl went out and did it. So she just went Ruby. Actually, was it 4 days ago?
Yeah.
2 days ago. She didn't even wait till the end of the month. She was like, got this. So she went Ruby, got that $1,000 bonus for going Ruby. So Christine, I would love to first have you tell everybody a little bit about your story, why you joined It Works.
Okay, I can do that. So my story is kind of funny. I'm a all or nothing kind of person, and so I had been using It Works products on and off for almost a year. Specifically, the greens were kind of what drew me in. Um, and I have two other kind of acquaintances that live near me that sell at Works, and my life is crazy, crazy busy. I'm a speech therapist kind of by day. I do some stuff in the evenings. I have 3 kids and a husband, so it's like I have 4 kids. You guys kind of know how that goes. So I'm really busy, and I just kind of decided that I wanted my family to be healthier. I wanted to be healthier. I wanted to kind of put me first. I do so much for everybody else, and I just don't take much time for myself. And so I was like, 2016 is going to be a year for me to focus on me and, make some changes. And so I kind of randomly met Katy. It was just one of those things that happened. She's not the person that I was a loyal customer with, but I met her and I was like, I want to be a part of her team. Like, you are an awesome person, and I knew that from like the minute I met you. And so I was like, I'm all in. I wanted my family to start using products. And to be honest, my why for signing up was really to be a distributor to help offset the cost of what I wanted my family to use. And so, my why has changed a little bit over the past 2 months, but that was my why. I wanted my family to be healthy. I wanted to be healthier, and I was like, here we go.
So, Christine, I would love for you to tell everybody, how many jobs were you working at you?
I up until a few months ago was working 3 jobs. So 3 jobs, 3
Great.
kids, a husband, not a lot of time for anything else. And to be honest, I promised my husband that I would quit one of the jobs that was taking me away from my family the most. So that was kind of my like negotiating tool with him. He's like, you can't take on anything else. I'm like, look, I'm going to quit a job and I'm going to do it Works, and I can do it with the kids at home with you. It can be a part of our family, and that can work. And so that's what I did. And so when I joined, I was like, again, I'm all or nothing. I'm like, okay, I'm joining. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go Ruby. Here I go. And so I made it.
I think that's really important. We hear all the time from people, well, I can't do this. I don't have time. I feel like that's the biggest thing that I hear from people. And you're definitely one of those people that is such a great example, because whenever people say, I don't have time, my new response is, hey, I know a woman that has children, was working 3 jobs, and she still did it. You guys don't know a lot of this, but even when I met Christine, she gets up really early, gets her kids ready to go. She goes to work. Then she comes home, has the kids, gets everybody ready for bed. And then she was still awake, like late into the night doing, her work. And so then on top of that, after she was done with all that stuff, which was already late at night, I mean, like, I'm talking 11 o'clock midnight, then she was doing at work stuff. That's some extreme commitment, and I just feel like that's so inspirational for her to be able to do that, because it is, people need to hear that story. People need to hear that it's not always an easy thing, but it's such a doable thing. If you want it, you can do it. So Christine, I know you talked about how you could bring your girls with you, which is awesome, because I have done wrap parties now with you where we've, you brought the girls, we've had kids there. But what I love is that you definitely still stay focused, because I feel like sometimes wrap parties with kids can like be out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yours aren't like that. When I've been there, it's been really nice. How have you been doing wrap parties, like around, how you tell everybody just a little bit, like how you've been doing around a table, because it's worked really well.
Yeah, I guess I've just kind of been setting up my display using, if it's at my house, using my kitchen table, which is a decent sized table, and kind of having everybody sit around. And I don't know how or really why that happened. That's just kind of the spot that I gravitated to. And it seems to be working pretty good. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It just happened. So
really personal. and again, you guys are going to hear me say that a million and one times, but it has to be personal or people are not really going to want to join your team. I always like to ask people, which now I'm kind of nervous to hear this because I don't think I've totally asked you, but like what made you join my team? Because I know you did know some other people, but I like asking people because everybody is different. And you kind of want to think about that when you're signing distributors.
There's a few things. That's an easy question. So the person I was a loyal customer to was kind of far away from me. And I knew that if I wanted to do this, that I was going to need a little bit of coaching because like, this is totally not like what I do. I mean, I'm not, I'm a speech therapist. Like this is outside my kind of box and comfort zone. And so for me as a person, I just knew I wanted support kind of near me. And Katie, I felt like our personalities clicked right away. Like I just felt like you could have been my like long lost sister kind of thing. So I just knew I wanted to be a part of your team. So, you know.
Cool. Yeah, and I think that that's really important. Because it's about making that personal connection with people. And it is definitely something that you can't force, but you need to look at people's strong suits. So for you, Christine, you definitely have that yellow in you that you like to, and that really shows through. And that's the thing that I want to say to everybody on here. You don't need to be me. You don't need to be Christine. You don't need to be Kendra. You don't need to be Jolie or Genesis. You just need to be you. And you real and you need to be genuine with people, because
people can tell when you're not. I mean, people can read that and then they're kind of weirded off by it because you have to be genuine for sure.
Yeah, you definitely have to be genuine. The other thing I was going to say too is that I feel like one of the reasons you've done so well is because you really do stay plugged in. You stay really connected with our team. I will never forget when you were on a Zoom. I shouldn't say this, but at your other job.
The job I quit, just to say.
Yeah, right. You quit. That's cool. But yeah, it's just that no excuses mentality of I'm gonna be really connected with my team to make this work. So before I forget to ask you, what would be some tips that you would have for people for going Ruby?
I think for me, I set a goal, and I'm a really goal-driven person. I set a goal, and I was like, I'm going to make this goal. So I did whatever I needed to do, which was, for me, staying up a little bit later than, maybe I would have normally. It was connecting with people that maybe I wouldn't have normally. I've had a lot of luck, like, at my wrap parties, getting people to book parties, like, off of that party. And to be honest, the people that I thought were going to like want to have parties for me and be all supportive really haven't been the people that kind of have been my go-to people. They've been more of, people I've either just met or I know or I'm acquaintances with that I've been able to share, my story with and get to know them a little bit better, than the people that are kind of my go-to people every day that I, hang out with and talk with, which is really kind of an interesting and weird all in the same breath. But I've just really, really, really tried to connect with people and, use my personal story, and, it's worked.
That is one thing. You do book parties off of other parties really well, and that can be something that's hard to do. So how have you been doing that? You just ask?
I don't know. People just, people start talking at parties about they know somebody or their daughter or, I'm just really trying to be perceptive in the conversation, and talk to people about all of our products, because if people have heard of It Works, a lot of times it's just the wraps, and there's so much more than just the wraps. And so then it starts a conversation about something else. And so I've just been really fortunate that that's, worked well for me. And so I'm kind of running with it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So the other thing I was going to say too is that your team has been able to really pull together. Do you have any tips on that? I know it's been good. We've been to some some of the wrap parties, you know, they've been, your how am I saying this? Your team members have been doing wrap parties together,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like has been great. Do you think that has helped them like be connected and work better together and keep each other motivated?
I do, and I think it's helped everybody kind of learn, because I'm super new at this too, and everybody has a different story, a different personality, a different way of presenting things, and so as kind of doing things as a team, I feel like two things. It allows us to kind of talk to the different people who are at our parties, because sometimes I think parties feel really kind of rushed for me, because I want to make sure I talk to everybody. I want to make sure everybody gets wrapped and gets their pictures. But I also want to have that personal connection, so I can hopefully, find a product that, they want to be a loyal customer and get every month. And then maybe they know someone else, another family member, or, their daughter or a sister that wants to maybe do a party. And so I feel like figuring all that out is kind of hard. So, when you have more than one person there that can kind of help support you, I feel like it's gone a little bit easier as we're all kind of learning. And I think my team, like, we all kind of like to hang out. We all have kids the same age, so it's just a really fun, easy thing to do. We all get along. I'm trying to stay connected with them, every day, every other day. And I'm hoping that they appreciate that and feel like they can approach me with any questions. They can come to you, Katy. So it's just really been great.
And I definitely think that that's key. Like, kind of as I've watched your team develop here, and grow strong together and grow so fast, I think that has just been a huge motivator. And I didn't really used to do that a lot. We didn't do like parties together with teams, but for me, watching you grow this team, it has been absolutely crucial. So for you guys that are building teams and, you're building to Ruby and stuff, think about that. Think like, inviting your other distributors just to come to the party, because the thing is that, we all kind of know about the personality colors, and it's true that different personality colors attract different people. So when you have different people there, it shows people, that they don't have to just be a blue or a yellow or a red or a green to succeed in this business, that anybody can do this no matter what you're like. So that's what I do think it's been really helpful for you to do those parties together with your team, because like you said, you guys are all learning and you're all helping each other, and you guys are all making connections with different people, which is great. And lots of people see that team mentality and they want to be a part of it. That was one thing that was really cool for me to see is, when Ellie joined your team, it was because she wanted to be a part of the team. She was sold on the team. Like, she was like, yes, I so want to be a part of this. I so want to work with you guys. And that's amazing to me. And that is one of my favorite parts about this business. Obviously, being a blue, like, I love to hang around with people and have fun with people. But that's just so inspiring to me that, you can really have that team mentality going, and it's contagious, guys. It is so contagious. I feel like no matter what color somebody is, there is something contagious about having a team that works together, that is on fire together and motivated together. And that can be seen in lots of different ways. Even if you don't have a team to necessarily do parties with and stuff, get people together to one team, one missions, or some kind of event like that, because it's really going to help to build up your teams. Christine, did you have anything else you wanted to say tonight?
I get the only other thing I kind of wanted to say that has been really interesting, and you kind of hit on it, is that, not kind of prejudging or making assumptions about, people, if they're going to be loyal customers, if they're going to be distributors. Because when I signed up, I was like, okay, in my head, this is who I think my team could be, and it is totally not who my team is at all, which is, kind of surprising to think about. But it just don't judge people, just share the information and, let them ask questions and kind of go from there.
I love that. I'm glad you said that. That is so important. The other thing that I was just going to say too, I know that Kendra last week and stuff challenged everybody to send out those messages. But I feel like that was one way you were really able to be successful, Christine, is you jumped in and you sent out a bunch of messages to people, asking them to help you by doing a party. So that's how you got, so many of those parties and really got your team going, and business built. like, not only did she sign all her distributors, she got all her volume and stuff too. I mean, obviously your distributors were working too, to get some of it. But man, you were just on a roll with it. And I feel like that was so important because you didn't, and lots of times we're so scared to just hit send, to send out those messages to people. But the truth is that you just have to think about it as in, who are you going to bless? Who are you going to bless? Whether you're going to bless them with a product that they really needed, because it's going to make them look better, it's going to make them feel better, or you're going to bless them with this business because they really needed the income or they really needed the friendships. Guys, you never know. So like Christine said, don't be making those prejudgments about people because you don't know who needs this or why they would need it. So don't judge. Just send out those messages. So that's really going to be like my challenge tonight, and I'm sure that Kendra was going to have something cool to say too. But I would just say, to go for it. And like Christine said, how she put that goal out in front of her, I think that that is so important, and lots of times we really miss out on that. For me, I missed out on it for a long time because I am definitely a really determined person, and I'm very competitive to the point that I'm competitive like against myself. Sad. So if I put a goal out there and I don't meet it, sometimes it can totally crush me. So to avoid that, I won't put the goal out there. But guess what? If I'm not putting that goal out there, if it's not in front of me and I don't make my game plan of how I'm going to do it, I don't do it. And I just really want to challenge you guys tonight. If that's what you're going through and, you really want, you feel like you do, you want to be Ruby, okay? You haven't made Ruby yet. But it's not written down and you don't have a game plan for how you're going to do it, guys, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're not going to do it. Like, you have to know what you're going for and you have to know why you're going for it. So I would just really challenge you tonight to take a piece of paper and write out, I am Ruby. And then the reasons you want to be Ruby, whether you need that income or, you just really want to help 5 people change their lives by getting them on your team. You really want to make it on that cruise, guys. That's an awesome reason. You want to take your kids to Disney World, whatever your reasons are, write that down and then write out a game plan of how you're going to do it. Of course, you're going to do it by assigning some distributors, but you got to figure out how you're going to get there. So you're going to blitz minimum 10 people a day. You're going to send out minimum 10 messages a day to people. So sit down and write those out. And then the hardest part is, I want you to tell somebody, whether you get on Facebook and you post it in a group and say, hey team, this is what I'm shooting for. Please hold me accountable and encourage me and help me to do it. Guys, we would love to help you do that. If, I know that so many of you have amazing uplines. They're on the Zoom right now watching you on it. Get a hold of them. After you make that list, after you write those goals and how you're going to do it, get a hold of them and say, hey, can you just send me a nice reminder, maybe to send out my 5 messages or 20 messages, however many you want to do a day. Or get a sideline. If you have a sideline friend that you're really close with, maybe you guys can hold each other accountable. I just hope that you guys can do that today, that you can set out those goals, that you can make that game plan, and then most importantly, we can hold each other accountable and help each other to do it, because that's the best way we're going to succeed is by doing it all together, because nobody becomes a Ruby or even an executive or a diamond or an ambassador without that team and without working together with their team. So I would just really hope that we can reach out and help each other achieve our goals.
I love that. Oh, thank you so much, Christine and Katy, both. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are such a breath of fresh air. And, Christine, you had all the reasons in the world to not make this work.
Yeah.
And you made it work. And really at the end of the day, when I look at someone like you that are just, rocking this business and having fun doing it, bringing that life, maybe that missing link to your personality or, like your crazy schedule, whatever that is, I feel like you know, at the end of the day, you have a choice. Either you can make this work for you, or you can make excuses and follow Christine. You know, be like Christine, make it work. Do what it's going to take to get you to your goals. And no matter what that is, we are all here to support each and every one of you. And I love that challenge, Katy. I appreciate that because that's huge. I need little carrots and challenges myself. You know, and do people hold me accountable and stuff when I'm going for my goals and stuff. So I appreciate that so much. And just to touch base a little bit on what Katy, what you had said, you know, with follow up and different things when we're out and about. Guess what, guys? We're getting ready to go to Atlanta. I think I already put it in my bag. Tomorrow, Ryan and I are flying out tomorrow, and I've already packed all of my standalone Blitz cards. But I made up all of my goodie bags already. I cleared out all of my pending friend requests. So if any of you were on that, just send me another one. I'll accept it. But there was like 300 on there, so I had to clear all those out. So I'm ready to go because I know that when we get to Atlanta, I'm going to be friending people. I'm going to be wrapping people. I've got product sheets stacked up here, and I have 2 of my distributor kits ready to go because I'm going to be super intentional with those 3 days that I have. And I'm collecting information so that I can follow up constantly. And I'm actually, I need to grab my little notebook because I know I'm not going to have cell phone service in the convention center. So it's just so important to get in that mindset of whatever you're doing, you know, incorporate this. Like this has nothing to do with It Works where we're going this weekend. It has to do with everything with Ryan's business, but it doesn't mean that there's not wives there. It doesn't mean that there's not people there that need the products that we have to offer. And so when you get in that business owner mindset, the magic is going to happen for you for sure. You know, like there's just no excuses in this business. You know, if you have excuses, you need to throw them out the window or look at your why, because those excuses will hopefully quickly diminish immediately. Just to touch on a couple of dates that are coming up, we have June 2nd, which is tomorrow. There is a Belleville, Michigan, One Team, One Mission, which is over near Ann Arbor. And then we also have June 23rd, which is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with Cammie Dempsey. So those are the 2 One Team, One Missions coming up. And then I know also Amy McAtari is having a training out on the east side of the state this weekend. You can find all of that information in Legacy Leaders. And then, of course, the green carpet in July. We can't stinking wait for that. So let us know if you guys have any questions. Let me check the chat really quick. I think it's been pretty quiet. I think you guys nailed it. But Katy, Christine, thank you. I appreciate it. Awesome. Have an amazing night, you guys. Thanks for bearing with us. And I'm going to stop